Hello, everyone. I'm very, very excited to get started. While we're waiting for people to kind of come through, I want you to put a number in the chat. So, where are you at with AI? I'm just going to give a little bit of a brief background before diving in. So, my name is Holly Cope. I used to be a lawyer. I worked in law for 7 years in the legal industry. And then I left law. I quit my job and I basically wanted to travel the world and work remotely. And I didn't want to practice law at the same time whilst doing that. So I decided to do more creative things, but still within the legal industry. So I started doing marketing for law firms, but as a freelancer, as someone who has their own kind of their business and works for themselves. So I could be more flexible and work remotely. So I have been doing that for the past, I think it's about 4 years now, which is crazy. But things have kind of snowballed a bit and developed a little bit because over those years, I started to do a little bit more than kind of marketing. I started my own podcast called More Than a Lawyer. And last year, I co-hosted with the lovely Sophie Best. So we both co-hosted a global AI skills summit for lawyers, which was a one-day event where we basically got experts in to train lawyers about AI, how to use AI and AI skills. It was a full day event, 14 different sessions in one day. It was crazy, very, very intense. Whoever joined can understand how it was. But basically, since then, it's really, really got me thinking and it really got my juices flowing with regards to AI. And I thought, this is just so much bigger than I ever thought and such an important skill to learn. So I started using it more and more, experimenting more and more, and started every day literally using it for hours and hours and hours and trying to do different tasks for myself. So that's basically why I'm here today, is the fact that I have realized how massive it is, how important it is. And I want to show you today what I have learned. And I also want to share a little announcement that I have. So the objective of today, by the end of this, I really want you to have learned some key skills. I want you to have identified some tasks that you can actually outsource to AI, you can ask AI to do for this training. I reached out to some people who are registered and I asked them what their biggest challenges were when it came to AI. And I would say 98% of people said that they just don't know when to use it. They don't know what type of tasks to use it for. They're just a bit confused about that and overwhelmed with the amount of tools and how to actually resolve their own problems. So that's something that I've actually incorporated into this training. And I want to show you how to actually do that. And then I also want to teach you a little bit about prompting. Probably you know the very, very basics, because prompting is simply basically typing into AI questions or information to explain to it what you want it to do. But I actually interviewed a guy who runs an AI native law firm, and he said that one of the biggest skills that he thinks lawyers need to learn is to prompt better. So I want to show you how to do that today in a little bit more depth, I would say, and show you what I've learned. And I also, obviously, we're all here today to learn how to build an AI assistant, an assistant using AI. I'm going to be using the free versions of the tool today, but if you want the assistant to do things more automatically, you do have to usually pay for a version of the AI software tools, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Claude. And I'm going to show you in real time, real workflows, examples of how to use those assistants. This is the roadmap for today. It's going to be, as I say, full on, a lot of information. And disclaimer, I am aware that every law firm or every company or every person has different approved tools, different tools they're comfortable with, different tools that are approved by their company in terms of compliance and governance. Everyone uses something different nowadays, but the principles that I am teaching you today will apply to all different tools. It's the fundamentals, the skills that you need to apply to Gemini or Copilot or Claude or ChatGPT. Today I will be using Claude and ChatGPT, But as I say, if you use Copilot and you're not allowed to use ChatGPT, for example, or you don't like it, then that's no problem. These skills apply. It's the skill of learning and the skill of using AI. And it's kind of a mindset shift as well. Before we dive in, I do also want to mention that at the end, I have a special offer. It involves prizes, which is very, very exciting. That's the coolest part. And I'm really excited to explain to you what those prizes are and what's involved. But basically, over the last few weeks, in a few weeks, I will be officially launching a brand new AI strategy business for legal teams and legal companies. And you're the first to hear about it today. I'll explain a bit more later as to what that kind of involves in terms of why I'm explaining that today. But I'm basically working with teams at the moment, and I'm going through a 3-step process. I assess their workflows, their tasks, how long it takes to do like mundane admin and things that take up a lot of time. And I find gaps. And then I create a strategic plan as to how they can actually leverage those tasks using AI and improve efficiency and save time. And then I help their team actually apply it in practice through workshops and training. I'm currently helping a business support team within a law firm and going through the tasks and finding out what takes up loads of their time and how can they actually do it quicker using AI. And they've been really, really surprised and amazed with the results. And I'm actually doing a similar training like this for them on AI agents, which is really exciting. So basically, at the end of this training, I have a special announcement in relation to this new business leading up to the launch of it. So I haven't officially launched this. It's kind of like behind the scenes at the moment. And it's a special offer that'll just be available for 72 hours and just be available to you guys here. So stay tuned. So there's a lot of information in this training today. It's going to be jam-packed. It's going to be quite full on, as I say, full of value. So a lot of people use AI like this as a search engine. I used to use it as a search engine for, probably for about a year or so when it first came out, in 2022. I was using it as a search engine, and so many people, that's all they do, they ask it random vague things, one-off questions, tasks that are disconnected, like, oh, just write me an email about this. But there's so much more to it, and there's a bit of a disconnect in terms of communication when they do it like this. So the mindset shift that I want you to think about today, like the biggest takeaway probably in terms of how you think about AI and how you use it, is you're not just prompting it, you're not just asking it to do things, you are actually training it. You're training your own digital assistant, especially in the context of today. I'll be going into Claude in a second, ChatGPT, different things. So first things first, your AI opportunity. What I mean by AI opportunity is, where are you able to use AI? Where are you not using AI? What's your gap in terms of, you have different tasks that you're doing. Some of them could be done by AI. Some of them can't be done by AI, and they have to stay human. So this is what I call the AI opportunity. And I have a framework for this. And this is the kind of like how it is. So a task is ideal for AI usually if it is trigger-based, rules-based, repetitive, or already digital. So I'll explain what I mean by that. So trigger-based is basically where an action happens and then it triggers a response. So perhaps it is an email is sent to a client, and then that triggers a response in terms of a note is made on a document, or an email is then sent to somebody else to notify them of that email that's been sent to that client. So an action which triggers another action. And then rules-based, it kind of like is what it says on the tin, different rules. So think of like a board game. So if you roll a dice and it lands on number 2, you can move 2 steps. If it rolls on a 0, you have to go back a step. Whatever the rules are of the game, so to speak. So rules in terms of your tasks and your workflow. And then repetitive. So that's obvious, things that you do all the time, policies you refer to all the time. documents you're always looking at, things you're always saying in emails, or things that you're always saying to clients, questions they're always asking, the same responses you're always giving, things that you're doing a lot. And then already digital, it's something that's online, or it's in a digital format, perhaps a PDF document that AI can review. So these are all ideal scenarios for AI tasks. And then there's obviously tasks that need to stay human-led. This is quite obvious. Relationship building, showing emotional intelligence, and more strategic thinking, things that are only in your brain, that's not with AI. But AI can obviously help with these things, but at the end of the day, you've got to keep things human-led. Okay, so this is where it starts to get, I should say, a little bit more exciting. So we're going to actually audit your AI opportunity. And I'm just going to show you how to do it. So I have a prompt for this, which you will receive. Basically, I have created a prompt where all you have to do is put it into ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, whatever it is that you use. And then the AI will actually interview you and figure out which tasks are best used for AI. So I did one, and I pretended, because I used to be an immigration lawyer, immigration advisor, I pretended that I am a UK business immigration lawyer. I got interviewed by the AI, and I spoke as if I was an immigration lawyer, and it came up with this kind of opportunity snapshot, which you will be able to receive as well. And it came up with different tasks that I can use. It's categorized the tasks, the priority, and how much time that could approximately be saved. Although who knows how accurate this is, because it's very dependent on the person. I'm going to jump into ChatGPT. So I created this prompt. As I say, you'll get access to this, so don't worry about it. I simply pasted it into ChatGPT. It says, act like an AI workflow strategist. Your job is to interview me and to identify where AI could reduce my workload, mental load, repetitive work, and operational bottlenecks. Ask me questions, and then create an AI opportunity snapshot for me. So it started to interview me. It started with, okay, what is your role right now? I said, my role is a business immigration lawyer, UK based, advising on immigration law, mainly business immigration. I have to take new inquiries from people who have issues with immigration, getting a visa. I help them from inquiry to getting the visa, including advising on documents, processes, having meetings, responding to emails. So I explained vaguely, but in kind of detail, but not a load of depth, what my role actually is. And then it says, okay, what repetitive tasks do you do every single week? So I said always, and it's given me some examples to kind of trigger my memory in case you forget. And I said always emails, checking and responding. I always review the immigration rules to check the law because it changes a lot. Explaining basically. And then it asked me, what tasks drain you mentally the most? And then it gave me some examples. I said, yes, inbox overload, yes, onboarding calls, etc. And then it says, walk me through your client workflow from first inquiry to visa submission. So this whole interview process took about 10 minutes. And then it gave me this AI opportunity snapshot. As I say, it tells me, okay, what you could use for AI: repetitive client emails and follow-ups, visa-specific document checklist generation, chasing missing documents, organizing case notes. Obviously, some of them, I've also got put the risk level here as well in terms of for confidentiality. So it's given me a really, really nice breakdown. So this is really quite helpful. And this will help me in my next step, which I'm going to show you now, which is how to actually use your assistant. I'm going to send you a link to the playbook so you can have a look at the prompts. You've got all the prompts in there. This is basically the written digital version of everything that I'm going to speak about today. Extra tips are in there as well. Okay, so how do you actually create your dream AI assistant? So your dream AI assistant is, if you could think about who you can hire, who you would love to hire, would it be literally the version of you, like the AI version of you? What would they help you with? How would they communicate? Just have a little think about that for a second. Maybe somebody who would be your dream AI assistant. Would it be your double? Would it be Mike Ross off Suits? Would it be who would it be? Could it be Jude Law? To create your dream assistant, we're going to go into, I'm going to explain to you today about what persona prompting is. For me, this has kind of changed the game for me because it actually gives the AI context and explains who I am, who I want it to act like. And it gives me a much better answer, a response, and output than it would if I was to just ask it something simple like, can you write me an email or can you write a follow-up email? When I give it an actual persona, a personality, it completely changes and it gives fantastic outputs and answers. It's brilliant. So persona prompting is basically a technique where you instruct an AI to adopt a specific role or identity or perspective or communication style. That's it, really. It's a simple kind of concept. And a lot of people write prompts for AI as in the questions or context or information that they give to it, and they just don't give enough detail or they don't make it personalized. So what you have to do when you're creating a persona in your prompt is give the AI a role. So you are this type of person, and I'm going to show you an example in a second of the one that I'm going to use. So you are this type of person, and you have to give it context about you, who you are, how you work, your background, professional background, so that it actually understands what you need to know or how you need to be communicated with. It needs to know its responsibilities, its how you want it to communicate. It could be that you want it to give you professional responses, but still be approachable or welcoming or friendly, or you might want it to be super formal. In this persona prompt, you're basically building your own kind of, it's like you're onboarding, like I say here, you're onboarding an AI like it's a new hire. You're talking about it like it's a human being. So kind of think of the similar concepts. So as I say, they need a job description and instructions. They need strict instructions, otherwise it can start to hallucinate or give random information. But with the persona, you're able to actually tell it, don't start, give me random information, please. Stick to your role. I'm going to jump into this document, this Word document, to just actually give you an example. Right. So I have created my own persona prompt. Basically, this is how it goes. So I'm taking on the role, me personally, taking on the role of an immigration lawyer. Okay. And that applies throughout this training webinar. Okay. So you are called Lex, a highly competent, detailed-oriented AI assistant supporting a UK-based immigration lawyer with a modern client-focused immigration law practice. Background, you support a client-facing legal practice. So this is the background of the AI. You are known for bringing clarity. You can add as much detail as you want to this. You can say you have had 7 years of experience working in immigration, so you know a lot about how to communicate with clients and these things. You can add the detail that you want into this background section. And as I say, in the playbook, I've added the link in the comments. You will have access to your own plug and play prompt, so you can input your own information into the prompt. Then I'm explaining the role, what they do. They can draft emails and communications, summarize documents. This is what I want them to do, okay? And I'm going to show you this later in actual real practice, which is really the exciting part. Their personality, they're calm, reliable, highly organized, clear, concise, efficient under pressure. This is what I want them to be, right? Their core strengths, this is what they're really good at. Breaking complex immigration information into plain English. Okay, this might be maybe stepping the line a bit much. It might be that you don't want your assistant to be doing things like this because you want to do things like this. But as I say, this is an example, okay? Don't worry. Audience awareness. Okay, so for immigration clients, you want them to be reassuring, clear, practical, jargon-free. This is a really important section, actually, because this dictates how they will communicate. And then boundaries as well. This is probably the most important section. You must follow these rules. Do not provide legal advice or define legal conclusions. Don't make up laws or cases or rules. Don't assume missing information. And you can actually say to it, make sure you ask me questions if you have any doubts, or if you have missing information, make sure you follow up with me and ask me first. Because at the end of the day, you're the expert, right? Working style. So this is quite a long prompt, as you can see, a lot of context here, which is really important. Formatting preferences, how you want it to respond to you, clear headings, bullet points, how you want it to do the work as well, the output. And then the reasoning approach. What else have we got here? Okay, yeah. And then I'll just jump down to here, my context. So this is where you add in who you are, your background, what you do day to day, and you can get this information and input it, get it from ChatGPT and input it into this prompt. It's really important that it knows who you are. And then your preferred tone. So I am professional, I'm clear, I'm calm, I'm practical, not overly formal or robotic. That's quite important for AI to know. And then the goal. And then at the end, you insert the task. So this is your persona prompt. And then at the end, when you put this into AI, you're going to insert the task that you want it to do. So that's my example. I'm just going to hop back into this presentation. So far, I just want to just have a quick minute break to just reflect. So we have gone through how to break down your tasks, how to find out what you could use for AI. As I say, the prompt to do that is in the playbook. We've learned a little bit about prompting skills, about the sort of the context and information you need to put into the prompt. I think a lot of people don't realize the detail or what the prompt needs to say. Another tip for you is if you're not sure what a prompt needs to say, you can go to ChatGPT or Copilot and explain to it, I want to write a prompt for this purpose, this goal. Can you help me? And it will actually help you do it if you're not sure how to do it. But that's the type of, I've shown you the type of context that you need for a persona prompt for creating some kind of assistant, or for lots of different scenarios actually, but that's one example. And then I've shown you the first step to building your assistant, which is building their persona and having that master prompt. Having that master prompt and being able to apply that and put that into AI is critical. You need that for all the context in order for it to do the tasks as you want it to do them. So now I'm going to show you in practice how to actually use your assistant. And as I say, this is the most exciting part. This is your AI assistant in action. And I'm going to show you how to do a few different tasks. As I say, I'm going to show you how to do them on the free version of Claude, but you can do this on Copilot. You can do it on whatever your AI tool, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever your tool, you can do these things. I guess each AI tool will have a different type of output, and I prefer Claude personally. As I say, the playbook has everything. It has everything in there. Okay, here we go. Right. So the first thing is, me taking on the role of an immigration lawyer, right? Okay, I'm not Holly today. I'm someone else. I'm an immigration lawyer. Well, I'm me years ago. So today I've been to an in-person meeting with a client. I've written up some notes because I usually like to meet my clients in person because it's a more human touch. I like to see them. I like to be able to see them face to face as opposed to remotely. If they can't make it in person, sorry, then the remote is fine. But this is how I usually like to work. And so therefore, I do not have a recording device with me because it's also quite a confidential meeting and I don't want them to feel uncomfortable or anything like that. So I'm writing my notes, okay? I scribbled down notes, as you can see from this picture. This is like my real notes. I've scribbled down the notes and they're not very legible. I can actually barely make out what it says myself. And I want my assistant to actually structure my handwritten notes and give me an action plan as to like what it thinks I should do next, and to write a follow-up email explaining what I've spoken about today with my client. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to jump into Claude. I'm going to go into a new chat. Okay, I need to just copy the prompt because it's really important that I put in this context. Okay, I'm going to copy that prompt. I'm going to go to Claude. Then I'm going to go to this and put in this. Okay, so what I've just done is I've just clicked onto add file. I've gone and added my picture of my notes. I've taken a picture of my handwritten notes. I'm just going to give it a bit of context. I'm going to say, okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so I put a date at the top of the notes as well. So it's actually done a really nice job here. It's got the meeting note, it's a spouse visa inquiry. The date is this. This is the client overview. So it has, and by the way, I need to say that I didn't have any confidential information in those notes, like their name or anything like that, and it was all kind of just random notes about who they are, but nothing that could identify them. By the way, this is also a made up case. Okay, so it's really done a really great job here of structuring my notes. So the key issues, okay, client previously overstayed, correct. Client is worried about the new rules. Yep, I wrote this down. The savings that they have approximately are 10K, financial requirement to be assessed. So it's basically, I also want to give you a bit of context. In a previous training that I did, I actually gave Claude a link to the UK immigration rules, so where the law is. So because I have the paid version of Claude, it has a memory and it probably remembers of previous conversations that I've had with it where I have used it as an immigration lawyer. I gave it the context and I said, refer to these immigration rules. So it knows the rules. So it might be using its memory here to actually advise me. But obviously in the prompt, I say to it, do not give any legal advice. If your response is giving you kind of legal advice and you don't want it to, you just simply tell it, well, actually, let me show you. So let's just see the output first of all. So outstanding questions, we need the name of the client, its nationality, the spouse income, all the things that are relevant to the application. So this is really great. So it's given me an overview of the notes. It's given me some key issues that I need to go through, and it's given me like a checklist, and it's also raised some flags for me here, some risks about like overstaying. This is not something that can happen according to the rules, new immigration rules. So it's definitely referring to the rules that I pasted in a previous training. Okay, this is great. Okay, draft follow up, and it's saying please review this. Of course, I'm going to review it. Okay, so it's drafted an email to the client. This looks brilliant. Thank you for coming in to see me today. It was great to meet you, and I hope you found our conversation helpful. So it's giving the right tone, because I remember in the prompt, I asked it to write in this type of tone, communicate in this type of tone. I wanted to follow up with a short summary of what we discussed, so you have a clear record and know what happens next. So this is what we covered. This is what the notes say. You mentioned that when you previously visited the UK in 2018, you overstayed your visa. This is really great. Taken from my scrawled notes, what happens next? Okay, this is what happens next. To enable me to advise you fully and begin preparing your application, I will need some further information and documents from you. This is literally actually how I would write to a client. So this is fantastic. In the meantime, if you have any questions or anything, this is great. I would probably tweak this slightly and add the client name and everything, but this is really great. I'm really happy with this. Please let me know in the comments what do you think about this? What's your opinions on this? This is great because I write so many handwritten notes, so this is kind of perfect for me. Right, I'm just going to come back to the presentation. So the next thing is I have received a really lengthy email from a client. Look at this email. It's really long. Oh, in fact, I was going to show you. I'll show you later after I've done these two examples. I've got another example as well, which is really cool. I'll show you what I wanted to show you. So a client sent me, it's like an inquiry. They've sent me a really, really long email. It's got as you can see, it's got loads of just random information. Some of it's relevant, some of it's not relevant. I used to receive emails like this when I worked in immigration. And it would be like, oh my word, now I have to like read through it all and try and pick out the details that are relevant to me and then find out what I need to ask as follow-up questions. And it's really frustrating. So I'm going to ask my assistant to summarize the email and actually prepare for a call. I can actually set up a call using Claude, but that's on the paid version because it's connected to my calendar. I can actually say to it, can you check my calendar for next week and give me a few time slots as to when I'm free? And it will check my calendar, but we'll see if we have time for that. But I want it to summarize the email for me. Again, I've double checked and there's no confidential information in there. I'll take out any client names, any kind of confidential information. There's nothing in there, but I want it to prepare me for a call with this client and to actually put the notes in order so that I can actually look at them properly and just process them properly and use my analytical immigration brain to figure it out. And then I want to put those notes into a database, an internal database that I might have that will help me summarize what a client is asking me. So I'm going to just go back into Claude, but I'm actually going to go to the email here. Okay, I'm just going to copy the email, come back into Claude, and I'm going to remain in the same chat because it has this prompt. It has the persona prompt in here. And I'm going to say to it, so I'm going to copy in the email there. Okay, so let's see what it says. Let's see what it says. Okay, got it. Quick brief for your call. Okay, who is the person? So it's giving me a breakdown. This is very, very helpful. Key issues. Okay, it's giving me some key issues. I can review these to check that they're accurate using my immigration knowledge. Questions to ask on the call. Let me just check. Okay, it's not giving me a great breakdown for my notes, so we'll probably ask it, I need a better breakdown. Just going to let it do that while I just double check what it said. Questions for the call. Okay. These are questions about the skilled worker application. What current visa are they on? It's basically checked out all the information. It's also then gone and referred to the rules that I gave it in a previous chat, and it is using its knowledge to ask follow-up questions. Okay, it's giving me this is really useful actually, a chronological summary, dates, events. This is really helpful actually. It's a summary of the immigration history, when they got certain visas, and then that's something that I would definitely copy and paste into my notes. Oh, it's giving me a lot of information here. Key risk summary. Okay, this is helpful information that I can go through. I'm going to show you another example, which is I am going to a legal conference and there's literally 5,000 people attending this conference. But that's what it says on the website. There's 500 speakers. There are loads of exhibition stands. It's a very, very overwhelming conference. This is actually a real conference I'm going to called Legal Tech Talk in London. The website is really, really kind of overwhelming me. I want it to give me a breakdown of what should I do, build me an itinerary, and suggest what I actually do at this event. So I'm just going to get the link to this event. So I've got the link to the speakers and a link to the agenda. And as I say, there's so much information on there. It's over 2 days. There's like multiple panels and speakers and sessions and workshops. I don't even have time to look through and find out what I want to do there. So I'm going to say, I want to ask you a non-related legal question and help with something else. Is it okay? I just want to double check it's in the right headspace for this. Otherwise, we start a new chat. Okay, right. I'm going to this conference. Please, can you check it and do the following? So here's the links. Here's the links for it. And I want it to do this. Help me prepare. Build an itinerary, suggests opportunities, and recommend how I prepare for this. Okay. So let's see what it comes up with. So it's gone to the webpage and it is reviewing it. That's weird. Okay. Okay. It says it wasn't able to access the full speaker list from the website, but then it kind of has. Okay. So it's explained what the conference is, confirms some speakers, and then it suggested a 2-day itinerary for me. So in the morning, it says, okay, when I did it last, it suggested different times and these things. So that was quite helpful. But probably the best thing would have been to do it in a different chat because it's in a more legal headspace right now. And this is a separate task. So what I would do is copy the prompt, put it into a new chat, and as in the persona prompt, and then ask it to do it there. So it's given me a breakdown, and I would go back to it and say, I need the timings for this in order to organize better. But it's given me some suggestions as to what I can do. And this is super, super helpful. The itinerary it gave me previously was very, very, very helpful. And then here are some tasks. Okay, confirm your ticket registration. Yeah, that's obvious. Book travel. Okay, yeah. It's helpful if I can't remember to do things. Charge portable battery pack. Very helpful. Review the full speaker list. Get 5 to 10 people to connect with. This is really, really helpful if I just need a quick kind of checklist and just really don't have time to do that. This is another thing because I put the persona prompt in there. It has this thing in mind. So bear this in mind. As a boutique immigration specialist, you're attending a conference dominated by large firm lawyers and legal tech. That's actually an advantage. You stand out, and many of the tools being shown will be easier and cheaper to adopt at your scale. Okay, that's interesting. So it's bared me and my context in mind. So that's very, very helpful. As I say, it built a really lovely itinerary prior. I just want to quickly share with you about this announcement that I have, which is that I have spent months building behind the scenes, as I mentioned, a new AI strategy business, which I will be launching in the next few weeks. And since you are in this training and you took the time to come and support and learn, you are invited to join my pre-launch guest list. And this is for teams who want to leverage AI and learn, like you have done today, and learn when they can implement AI in their day-to-day work and how to do it and learn how to actually do it in practice. So as I mentioned, I'm working with teams to audit their workflows, come up with a strategy, a roadmap, and then actually show them how to do this in practice, how to implement AI in practice through workshops and training. Best part about the guest list is the fact that you have access to a private advanced training session that I will not be releasing publicly. And also you will have access, as I mentioned, to special prizes. I'm adding a link to the guest list. As I say, this is a celebration of my pre-launch to my new AI strategy business. So if you join the guest list, you have access to the private training and special prizes. The special prizes these are the top prizes. So if you enter the guest list, then you will be in with a chance to win these prizes. And the top prize is a full complimentary AI opportunity audit, workflow analysis, operational mapping, tailored AI recommendations, and a plan of how you can leverage AI in your work specifically for your team. This is an opportunity for your team. So this will be a few people. And then second prize is a complimentary team training on prompting. So if you join the list, you will be in with a chance to win these top prizes, which is so fun. But the list closes after 72 hours. If you can't find the link or you want more information or anything like that, then please just send me a DM. I am just going to go over some bonus tips now. So what I would usually do is, and I'm going to share again my screen with Claude, I would usually ask for, once I've asked the AI a few tasks using my assistant, I would ask for a summary. I would say, okay, let's wrap up. Please give me a summary of our conversation in, I'll say 2 paragraphs. so I can use them for my records. And this basically, you can save this summary so then it has actually context for the next session that you do with your assistant. It has context around what you've asked it, what it's done for you, and it's super helpful. Today's session covered 3 client matters, 1 personal task. This is really, really helpful. Great overview. And I would then save that to my documents and come back to it. As I say, if you want this assistant to remember what you've done, you will need a paid version of an AI tool. If you do not use a paid version, you can simply copy and paste each time the prompt, the persona, and then the task. And then probably best to also copy in the conversation summary as well, just so it knows what you've asked it and what conversation you've had with it, just to jog its memory. And that's the best way to use it. In the playbook, where I've added the link to that, I have more information about how you can actually make it remember and how you can build. Well, if you're using Claude, you need to build a skill, and if you're using ChatGPT, you can build a custom GPT to create an assistant that can work and remember what you have said to it. You can also ask your assistant for feedback or give feedback to it on the tasks and say, in fact, I'll show you now, actually, just in the last minute. Okay, great. Can you give yourself feedback? Be critical on what you have done today and how you've performed. Self-assessment. Okay, so it'll give a self-assessment, and then you can also give it feedback as well. And this is how you improve it every single time. That is all for today. A lot of information. I hope it's been super useful for you. And as I say, I will add in the link again to the guest list and the playbook so you can refer to it. Thank you so much. And I hope you have an amazing day.